Good evening and welcome to News Tonight. I am Vishal Dahiya. Before we go to the headlines, Rajya Sabha TV appeals to all its viewers to stay safe from the COVID-19 pandemic. Wear face masks, wash hands and face regularly and maintain physical distancing while stepping outside. Remember, these simple precautions are all that it takes to defeat the pandemic. And now, let's take a look at the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches citizens' movement to combat pandemic, appeals for COVID-appropriate behavior, urges people to derive strength from COVID warriors. Recovery rate of COVID-19 patients goes up to 85.25%. Over 58 lakh people have recovered from the virus so far. Active cases well below 10 lakh. Strong India story of today will be even more stronger tomorrow, asserts Prime Minister Narendra Modi at annual Invest India conference in Canada. PM underscores reforms that help the country to transform adversity of the COVID pandemic into opportunity. Indian Air Force celebrates 88th Establishment Day with spectacular air show at Hindon Air Base. Showcases capabilities of many powerful fighter planes, including the Rafale jet. New rules for holding public meetings in election-bound states. Home Ministry makes COVID-19 protocol mandatory at all times. Nomination process ends for the first phase in Bihar. Let's now take a look at all the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the annual Invest India Conference 2020 organized by Canada-India Business Council on Thursday, inviting Canadian companies to invest in different sectors in India. The Prime Minister said reforms undertaken in recent months have further improved ease of doing business in India, while appreciating Canada for hosting the largest Indian diaspora in the world. He stressed that India and Canada could do more together.
The India story is strong today and stronger tomorrow. Let me explain how. Today, the FDI regime has been very well liberalized. We have created a friendly tax regime for sovereign wealth and pension funds. We have undertaken significant reforms for developing a robust bond market. We have come up with incentive schemes for champion sectors.
Underscoring India's contribution during COVID-19 pandemic, Prime Minister Modi said India has helped as many as 150 countries with essential medicines. He said India is in the process of developing COVID-19 vaccine and will help the world once it is developed. Prime Minister Modi asserted that India's stable government has clear trade and investment-friendly policies.
India is playing the role of the pharmacy to the world. We have provided medicine to around 150 countries so far during this pandemic. During March, June of this year, our agriculture export rose by 23%. This happened while the entire country was stringent lockdown. Today, our manufacturing is running on full stream. There is an opportunity for everyone, institutional investors, manufacturers, supporters of innovations, ecosystems, and infrastructure companies. There is an opportunity to invest, to set up units and to run businesses. There is an opportunity to partner with our private sector and with the governments. There is an opportunity to earn as well as learn. Not only that, as well as to lead. There is an opportunity to grow.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched nationwide movement for COVID-appropriate behavior on Thursday in view of the upcoming festival and winter season, as well as the opening up of the economy. In a tweet, the Prime Minister appealed to everyone to unite in the fight against novel coronavirus, while reiterating the key message to wear a mask, wash hands, follow social distancing, and practice 2 gaj ki duri. The campaign is launched with the aim to encourage people's participation. Its highlights include region-specific targeted communication in high caseload districts, simple and easily understandable measures to reach every citizen. The campaign also involves putting up of hoardings, wall paintings, electronic display boards in government premises, running mobile vans, audio messages, pamphlets, and brochures for awareness. It would also involve seeking support of local cable operators for running COVID messages and coordinated media campaign across platforms for effective outreach and impact. Let us now take a look at the COVID-19 situation in the country. India's recovery rate increased to 85.3% after over 83,000 people successfully fought off the viral disease in the last 24 hours. India has the highest recoveries globally, with over 58 lakh people cured of the novel coronavirus. The death rate stood steady at 1.5%, which is lower than the global average. India reported 78,524 fresh COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours, taking the total number to 68.35 lakh. The country recorded 971 deaths in the same period, taking the death count to over 1 lakh. Total cases include 9.02 lakh active cases and 58.27 lakh recoveries. With over 75,000 people recovering from COVID-19 every day, on an average, the country's recoveries are 6.3 times more than the active coronavirus cases. The country has witnessed an exponential rise in the number of COVID-19 recoveries from 50,000 in May to over 57 lakh in October. With over 14,000 new cases, Maharashtra had the highest increase in new cases, followed by almost 11,000 new cases in Karnataka. Kerala recorded the highest single-day increase with more than 10,000 cases. Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu both reported about 5,000 cases each. With more than 92,000 active cases, Kerala now has the third largest caseload of active cases in the country after Maharashtra and Karnataka. With 335 deaths, Maharashtra also reported the most COVID fatalities in the 24-hour period, followed by Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, and Uttar Pradesh. Total samples tested crossed 8.34 crore. Over 11.94 lakh samples were tested on Wednesday. National average of tests per day per million population stands at 865, higher than the WHO recommended 140 tests per day per million. The test positivity rate has shown a downward trend for the last 3 weeks, but at 8.19%, it is higher than the WHO approved 5%. TPR varies at states, indicating the spread of the virus. 7 states have reported a positivity rate of less than 5%, while 22 states have a positivity rate of less than the national average. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. In another significant development, Chairman of the High Council for National Reconciliation of Afghanistan, Abdullah Abdullah, met Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi on Thursday. The leaders discussed the ongoing peace initiative to bring back stability in the war-ravaged country. External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Anurag Shrivastava said Modi reaffirmed India's long-term commitment to further deepen ties with Afghanistan. After the meeting, Abdullah tweeted that Modi assured him of India's continued support for the peace process in Afghanistan. He also thanked India for its principled position on the Afghan peace process. On Wednesday, Abdullah held extensive talks with National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. Afghan leaders' visit comes across as the Taliban and the Afghan government are holding direct talks in Doha to end 19 years of war that has killed tens of thousands of people in Afghanistan. India has been keenly following the evolving political situation after the US signed a peace deal with the Taliban in February. India has already invested $2 billion in aid and reconstruction activities in the country. On 12th of September, an Indian delegation attended the inaugural ceremony of the intra-Afghan negotiations in Doha, while External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar joined it through video conference.
Dr. Abdullah briefed Prime Minister on the Afghan peace process and on the ongoing talks in Doha. And PM reiterated our commitment towards sustainable peace and prosperity in Afghanistan and welcomed efforts towards a comprehensive and permanent ceasefire in Afghanistan.
Lok Sabha's Subordinate Legislation Committee on Thursday was briefed by the representatives of Ministry of Coal. The committee was briefed on rules framed under the Coal Mines Special Provisions Act 2015 and the Coal Blocks Allocation Rules 2017 and Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Act 1957 as amended from time to time. The Subordinate Legislation Committee scrutinizes and reports whether the powers to make rules, regulations, bylaws, schemes or other statutory instruments conferred by the Constitution or delegated by the Parliament have been properly exercised within such conferment or delegation. Let's take a short break now, and on the other side, we'll bring you some more news.
For centuries, Delhi has been known for waterworks, given the vast number of kingdoms in the city. Among the earliest ones was a dam at Anangpur village, the city believed to be built by Rajput king Anangpal Tomar. This unique Indian hydraulic engineering structure was built around 8th century, running 50 meters long and standing 7 meters high. This dam was more of a water harvesting structure meant to store rainwater during the monsoon season. Located close to Anangpur village lies Surajkund, the waterworks which is regarded as among Delhi's first organized reservoir. Built in the shape of rising sun with an eastward arc, it's enclosed with a steep embankment made in semicircular shape of stepped stones. These reservoirs took care of need of the city at the time of the shortage of water, given Delhi's topography and warm weather spells. Also, once existed a magnificent sun temple near the Surajkund reservoir.
Rabindranath Tagore was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913 for his book Gitanjali. In 1950, he composed the music and lyrics for India's national anthem, Jana Gana Mana. And when Bangladesh became independent in 1971, they chose Tagore's song, Amar Shonar Bangla, as its national anthem. Tagore's life and works have made him a cultural icon, studied the world over, even into the 21st century.
Defeat coronavirus. Let us always remember, wear a mask. Wash hands. Follow physical distancing. Together, we'll succeed. Together, we'll win against COVID-19.
Bhul-Bhulaiya, a labyrinth of hundreds of narrow stairway passages, is a significant and historical component of what you popularly know as Bara Imambara. Some of these narrow stairways have dead ends, some end at precipitous drops, while others lead to entrance or exit points. Historically, Bhul-Bhulaiya was constructed to confuse the enemy intruder, and the narrow lanes of the labyrinth can make anyone feel lost. The structure contains various strategically built hollows in the corridors.
Welcome back. Indian Air Force celebrated its 88th Foundation Day on Thursday. IAF's frontline warplanes like Rafale, Sukhoi 30 MKI, Apache, Tejas, Gajraj showcased India's lethal firepower. Air Chief Marshal RSTV Bhadoria assured the nation that the Indian Air Force will be ever ready to safeguard India's sovereignty and interests in all circumstances. The Indian Air Force celebrated its 88th Foundation Day with the signature IAF parade at the Hindon Air Base in Ghaziabad. Even though the events were scaled down due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic this year, the IAF's prowess was on full display.
Has the unique capability of airlifting up to 11 tons.
56 aircraft, including 19 fighters and 7 transport aircraft, along with 19 helicopters, took part in the aerial display.
3 C-130J सुपर हरक्यूलिस विमान इस समय वायुसेना दिवस परेड का हिस्सा बनते हुए नेतृत्व ग्रुप कैप्टन
Indian Air Force fighter jets carried out the vertical Charlie maneuver.
Rafale aircraft is a very high thrust and capable.
Newly inducted Rafale fighter jet executed the minimum radius turn within an area smaller than a hockey field, forming a figure of 8.
The Rafale now carrying out a minimum radius turn within an area smaller than a hockey field, forming a figure of 8.
The indigenous attack helicopter, Advanced Light Helicopter Rudra, showcased its abilities to undertake a wide range of missions. The aircraft formations soared above the airways, showcasing its reconnaissance, troop transport, anti-tank warfare and close air support abilities. Air Chief Marshal RSTV Bhadoria said the Indian Air Force clearly demonstrated its resolve, operational capability and the will to effectively engage with the adversary. He commended all air warriors for quick response in the recent standoff on the northern frontiers and providing proactive support to all requirements of deployment and sustenance for Indian Army.
As the novel coronavirus spread rapidly across the globe, our nation's response was firm, and IAF on its part instituted various proactive measures to counter the spread and minimize the disruption in our functioning. We deployed our transport and helicopter aircraft promptly during the lockdown to support COVID-19 tasks, pan-India as well as abroad. wherein we flew almost 750 hours, including many missions to bring back stranded Indians across the globe.
This I stands for you, me, our motherland, and for these indigenous...
President Ramnath Kovind said the ongoing process of modernization, along with the induction of Rafale, Apache and Chinook aircraft, will transform the Indian Air Force into an even more formidable strategic force. President said the nation remains indebted to the Indian Air Force for securing our skies and assisting civil authorities in handling humanitarian crisis. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu said the country's air warriors are known for their professionalism, excellence and courage and have made the country proud in war and peace. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also greeted the Indian Air Force on its foundation day. He said the courage, valor and dedication of its soldiers to protect the country inspire everyone.
हम भारतवासी हमारे सुरक्षा बलों के प्रति हमेशा गौरव और आदर का भाव रखते हैं।
The Prime Minister also lauded the force and said its brave soldiers not only protect Indian skies but also play a leading role in serving humanity during any crisis.
125 करोड़ देशवासी सुख चैन की जिंदगी जी सके, इसलिए वो अपनी जवानी देश के लिए कुर्बान करते हैं।
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said the country is proud of its men and women in blue and salutes the prowess of the IAF as it stands ready to face challenges and deter adversaries.
8 अक्टूबर को हम वायु सेना दिवस मनाते हैं। 1932
8th October is celebrated as Air Force Day. On this day, the Air Force in India was officially raised in 1932 as the supporting force of the Royal Air Force of the United Kingdom. The first operational squadron came into being in April 1933. After taking part in World War II, the Air Force in India came to be called the Royal Indian Air Force in the mid-1940s. In 1950, it became the Indian Air Force. From 6 officers and 19 Hawaii Sepoys back in 1933, the Air Force now is the 4th largest in the world.
The leader has pulled up to present a salute to the nation.
Kriti Mishra's report, Rajya Sabha TV. Let's now take a look at some news from the electoral arena. Filing of nominations for the first phase of Bihar Assembly elections ended on Thursday. The scrutiny of nominations will take place on Friday and the last date of withdrawal of candidature is 12th of this month. The polling for the first phase will be held on 28th of October. Meanwhile, Chirag Paswan-led Lok Janshakti Party on Thursday named its 42 candidates for the Bihar polls. In another political development, Rashtriya Lok Samta Party, RLSP's National President Upendra Kushwaha and AIMIM Chief Asaduddin Owaisi have announced a new front. This front has been named Grand Democratic Secular Front, which consists of a total of 6 parties, including RLSP, AIMIM, BSP, Suheldev Bharatiya Samaj Party and Samajwadi Janata Dal Democratic, along with Janatatrik Party Socialist. Voting for 243 assembly seats in the state will be held on October 28th, 3rd of November and 7th of November. The counting of votes will take place on 10th of November. The Election Commission has revised rules for concerning star campaigners for all election conducted during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, accordingly, the maximum number of star campaigners for any recognized national and state political party will be 30 instead of earlier 40. For unrecognized registered political parties, the number is 15 instead of 20. The list of star campaigners has to be submitted 10 days from the date of notification instead of the earlier 7, and political parties that have already, even the star campaigners, will resubmit a revised list within the stipulated period. Permission for campaigning by star campaigners is to be sought from district election authorities at least 48 hours before the start of the campaign. The revised norms will take effect immediately. Union Minister Ram Vilas Paswan passed away late tonight. His son, Lok Janshakti Party Chief Chirag Paswan, tweeted the news of his demise. 74-year-old Paswan had undergone a heart surgery a few days back at a Delhi hospital. Last week, Chirag Paswan had said that due to some sudden development on Saturday, an operation of Ramvilas Paswan's heart had to be conducted. Ramvilas Paswan was hospitalized for more than a month. On Saturday, the LJP Parliamentary Board meeting was also postponed due to his surgery. Paswan was among the noted Dalit leaders in the country. The Union Minister of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution was a member of Rajya Sabha. The RBI has extended the 2% interest subvention scheme for cooperative bank loans taken by MSMEs till 31st of March 2021. The move will provide relief to pandemic-hit micro, small and medium enterprises. The terms of the scheme have also been tweaked. Now, the interest subvention scheme was first announced in November 2018 for scheduled commercial banks and was to be in effect until the end of financial year 2020, spanning 2 financial years, that is 2018-19 and 2019-20. However, due to COVID-19 pandemic, it has now been extended for 2020-21. Cooperative banks also became eligible lending institutions since March 3rd, 2020. Social Justice and Empowerment Minister Thawarchand Gehlot on Thursday inaugurated the virtual International Conference on Mental Health, looking beyond COVID-19 via video conferencing. Delivering inaugural address, he drew the attention to rising trend of mental health concerns across the globe. He also apprised about the recent initiatives of the government, such as setting up of National Institute of Mental Health Rehabilitation at Sehor in Madhya Pradesh and Kiran Mental Health Rehabilitation Helpline for addressing mental health issues. In a veiled attack on Pakistan, India called upon the United Nations to take strong action against the sponsors of terrorism. India's first secretary at India's permanent mission to the United Nations, Yadela Umashankar, said forum should not be misused by countries with the retaliatory intent to name innocent civilians as terrorists without credible evidence. Speaking at the 6th Committee of the UN General Assembly on measures to eliminate international terrorism, Umashankar said India has been and continues to be a victim of terrorism sponsored across our borders. He said India's fight against terrorism should identify and take strong measures against states that encourage, support and finance terrorism. He stated that the United Nations must agree on comprehensive convention on international terrorism put forward by India. The Nobel Prize in Literature for 2020 was awarded to the American poet Louis Glück by the Swedish Academy on Thursday. Announcing the Nobel laureate of the year, Mats Malm, Secretary, Swedish Academy, said Glück has been awarded the prize for her unmistakable poetic voice that, with austere beauty, makes individual existence universal. In addition to being named the literature laureate, Glück will be awarded a prize of 10 million krona. 1 krona equals 8 rupees and 24 paisa. Glück also made her literary debut with the work Firstborn in 1968 and has published 12 volumes of poetry, including collections like The Triumph of Achilles, 1985, and Ararat in 1990. And before we leave, Rajya Sabha TV appeals to all its viewers to stay safe from COVID-19 pandemic. Wear your face mask, wash hands and face regularly, maintain social physical distancing while stepping outside. And remember, these simple precautions are all that it takes to defeat the pandemic.